Okay, welcome to a little video I'm going to do that shows the explanation for a little feature that people have noticed and been concerned about with the new SyQon Starless removal script. So we're going to start in Autostretch mode, which is what many people use as a general purpose display mode for linear images. So we go into linear mode, the image is very dark. If we go into auto stretch mode, you can see what's there. So we've got the Leo triplet. We're going to now remove stars from it. So I'll bring up the Starless script. And I'll set it to work on the image. This will take a little while because I have a fairly slow GPU. So while it's doing it, I'll just talk through a couple of features of the image. So I'll zoom in to 100%. You can see in the background here there's some noticeable noise that we've got. That will become important later on. Just zoom back out so you can see the whole thing. And while it's working, I'll quickly run the stat command. So that brings up image statistics, and we can see here that the background noise in each channel is 4, 4.6, 3, so around about 3 or 4. So the script's churning away, it's nearly finished what it's got to do. Finalizing it, generating the star mask, completing, and gosh, oh my god, this looks really awful. It's got big obvious stripes, lots of colour that wasn't there before, there's artefacts. What on earth is going on? Well, don't panic. First of all, I'm going to run the stat command again. This is on the result now. And we can see that the way Starless works, it removes the stars, but it also, there are some technical explanations, but it has the side effect of reducing high-frequency noise in the image a lot. So you can see before the noise level was about 4.2, 3 in the green channel. It's now 0.8, 0.6 in the green channel, 0.9. So it's reduced it by about a factor of 4. This is really important with how Autostretch works. So Autostretch will force, whatever your image contains, it will force the average brightness to be the same. So you can have a really dark image and it will stretch however hard it needs to stretch to get the average brightness to be the same, and also so that the spread covers a certain fixed amount. So if we open the histogram tool, I'm not going to do a stretch here, but I'm just using it to illustrate a point. So if we zoom in and look at the histogram, it's really narrow here. If we go back to the original, the histogram is wider. Same zoom, the histogram's wider. Go back to the Starless. Much narrower histogram. Now, the other thing that Autostretch mode does is it makes the histogram the same width. If you ever go into the tool, I'll open it back up again, and if you press the Autostretch button, go back to the usual zoom level, it will always give you a shape that looks roughly like that. So the peak of the histogram will be in the same place, and the width of it will be in the same place as well. Now, in this Starless result, I'll just reset that because I don't want to actually apply the stretch. In this Starless result, we're starting off with that much narrower histogram. So, in order to achieve that same width in the Autostretch preview, it has to stretch that really narrow histogram much more widely. So, even though there's much, much less noise in this Starless image, it stretches it much harder and brings out all this residual mess that you can see. But actually, the residual mess is much lower, and when you apply a normal stretch to this, it will come out absolutely fine. Now, I'll reassure you a bit more. I'll go into Logarithm display mode. So this is one that people don't use quite so much. It's it is actually quite useful because it's similar to how our eyes respond. It also brings out very extreme differences in brightness. And here you can see we've got our galaxies and we've got the background. This is the starless one. If I go back to the image with stars, all that's happened is the stars have been removed. You can flick backwards and forwards. So it keeps the small galaxies in the background. You can probably bring up the names of them. You can see it's preserving most of the brighter galaxies. There are some that are too faint to register here, and it's removing the stars. But there's no shock horror change in the background level. It's exactly as it was before. All you're seeing in Autostretch view is just the result of it being stretched much harder to try to achieve that same histogram peak beyond what the data can really support. So I hope that's helped set your minds at rest a bit about how Starless works and why you see this kind of thing in Autostretch mode. So when you apply a more typical stretch to the data, you will find that it comes out absolutely fine. You can recombine it with your star mask and achieve star reduction or whatever other effect you're going for. One thing to bear in mind though is that if you do use a one-click stretch like Autostretch or statistical stretch, you'll see the same thing because it's doing that same thing. It's latching onto the width of this histogram and it's trying to stretch it by some algorithm. It'll differ between the histogram stretch and statistical stretch and whatever other one-click stretch you might use. So here I'm just going to actually apply Autostretch and we'll come into linear mode, so it'll look just as it does. So you might find something like this in your initial stretch, and what you'll need to do is just tone that way back down. Get that median down to a nice background level where it should be.